Well, I think a good starting point for us to look at where relations are today is to go back to 2010. And in 2010, we had a Chinese fisherman that rammed some Japanese Coast Guard vessels in the sea of the East China Sea. And this, I think, began the negative spiral of the current cycle of Sino-Japanese relations, in that the fisherman was arrested by the Okinawan government. This was an application of local law, which meant it reinforced Japan's claims on the Senkaku Islands. And of course, the Senkaku Islands is an area of dispute that China has with Japan. And this, I think, from the Chinese standpoint, was a shift away from the status quo over the Senkaku Islands. Later, 2 years later, the Senkaku Islands were nationalized under the Democratic Party of Japan's Noda administration, and this was further seen by the Chinese side as a breach of the status quo.
Yes, I remember the I don't know how to call it, the tourist excursion by Chinese, Hong Kong, and Taiwanese activists on Senkaku Islands, which were, that was also a very important event.
Absolutely, but I think that those were controlled by both the Japanese side and the Chinese side, because I think they both understood the shared interest in ensuring that the Senkaku Island issue it remained quiet, it remained unpoliticized, and they kept those outside actors that could throw a wrench in the relations under control. But with the nationalization of these islands, what we saw is really the worst coming together of many problems. We saw a new nationalist leader come into Japan, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. We saw confident Xi Jinping come into power in the Chinese context. And this created what we call a negative spiral in bilateral relations, really until Prime Minister Abe was determined to normalize relations or bring them back to what we call seikei bunri, or the separation of economics and politics, which I think has been the traditional model of how Japan and China have dealt with their difficult past. To try to create a mutually beneficial relationship based on their comparative advantages in their economy and societies.